Hey guys, this is John from JRP. On today's video, I want to go over all the equipment we currently use to shoot our motorhome photos, architectural and design photo shoots, and I really want to go over each individual item that we use and why we use it, from flash to modifiers to lenses, camera, triggers, CamRanger, tripod head, pretty much everything from A to Z. I'm going to start from the body and then move into any other accessories we use to either trigger the flash, what flash you're using, the modifier, the lenses, the gear head, CamRanger, and the tripod. For the body, we are using Canon, specifically the Canon R5. Between Brian and I, it's been more than a decade using Canon, and we are loyal to the brand. We have never used any other camera besides Canon, and the R5 for architectural photography, real estate photography, any premium offering that we do, the R5 with the megapixel count is the body to go. We have the R3, but we really use the R5 only for architectural photo and video shooting, and it's been fantastic. Especially on video, we have had some instances of overheating, but since we're shooting on a controlled environment, 90% of the time, I personally haven't encountered too many overheat scenarios. If we're shooting outside in Florida on summer, 4 or 5 hours straight, guarantee you get at least 1 or 2 instances of overheating. But since we're shooting 90% of our shoots are in a controlled environment with AC, we haven't even run into that problem when shooting real estate or architectural photography. So for the body, Canon R5, pretty amazing body. For the lens, we have several lenses that we use for architectural photography, and you know that there's a wide ranges of either tilt shifts or primes or zoom lenses that you can utilize. For us, using prime lenses, tilt shifts are the way to go. For instances, for motorhome photography for builders, we tend to use the 17mm tilt shift lens or the 24mm tilt shift lenses from Canon. We use the 17 just to get wider angles perspective instead of using a 16-35 zoom lens, which we will use on a real estate shoot. For motorhome, for more of a premium offering, we have the 17mm tilt shifts, and this is an f4. Pretty amazing. If you never utilized a tilt shift before, what it basically does is, if I turn this around, I can unscrew this little knob right here, and it will shift the perspective up or down or sideways. Why do we use tilt shift lenses, you may ask? It's just to give the viewer a better perspective of the house. For real estate, we actually keep our lens in my height, chest height, but for motorhomes, for a more premium offering, we kind of go as eye level in some instances, just to get more of a premium feel, more of a view of the entire flooring. And when you're utilizing a tilt shift lens, you can shift the perspective down without modifying the verticals. If you're using a zoom lens like a 16-35, if you are going to point down, right? If you want to look down into the room, then you are affecting the verticals of the image. So we use a tilt shift lens just to we're shifting the perspective to just kind of see a little bit more of the room and less of the ceiling. And we use tilt shift lenses to do that, to shift the perspective. If you're using a 16-35 zoom lens or a 24-105 zoom lens, then you will have to kind of tilt down and crop on post, and that tends to be an issue because you're gonna lose megapixels, you're gonna lose a little bit of quality while cropping, and you don't lose any quality with a tilt shift. So for any premium offering from any architectural design, motorhome shooting, builder shooting, it's necessary to have a tilt shift, in my opinion. I've used zoom lenses in the past, tilt shift lenses, prime lenses, and I always go back to tilt shifts, no matter what. So as of right now, we're using the 17 millimeter, and we tend to use the 24 millimeters f4 for other shoots, such as architecturals or interior design shoots, where you really don't want to get too wide on those perspectives rather than a builder shoot. An architectural or interior design photo shoot, you want to get a little bit more of a realism aspect of the build. That's why we use either a 24 or 50 or 85 prime, just to get kind of a better feeling, better perspective for the shoots. But I can go over a little bit more detail on another video on how to shoot architectural photography. We're talking specifically motorhome photos today. This is the lens I use for all of my motorhome photography. 17 millimeter tilt shift. Now that we talked about body and lenses, let's move to actually the core of everything. So for the gear head, we are using a Manfrotto. This is the MHX Pro 3 swing. I recently bought this gear head, and I'm actually in love with it. I used to have a old Manfrotto gear head, which worked great for 6 years, and it got so beat down that I had to replace it. It was wobbly all the time. The knobs weren't working, and the actual spring for it to move consistently wasn't working. So it was a big issue for me, and I replaced it like a year ago, and this has been a game changer for me. I love gear heads, especially for architectural design shoots where you have to be very detailed and meticulous about the angle. If you're using a ball head, some of you guys might consider a ball head, and that's totally okay. That's totally fine. But I think using a gear head will change your mind. I think it's easier to manage, faster to go vertical and horizontal, and you can go as detailed as possible on kind of the actual angle and perspective you want to get besides of a ball head. So I'm using, as I said, the MHX Pro 3 swing, and this is for Manfrotto. I really like the way it feels. It feels premium. I don't recall how much I spent on this, but it was pretty expensive. These gear heads are very expensive, but they're totally worth it for photo shoots like this, where you really want to get perfect shots every single time. So this gear head, you can actually, push the knobs and kind of quickly move around. So I'm panning as of right now. So you have the pan, you have the tilt right here, or you can rotate between vertical and horizontal, or you can use the knobs to kind of go as meticulous and detailed as possible. And this is great, again, for architectural and design photo shoots. So I love this gear head so much, and I totally recommend you guys getting one if you are thinking of upgrading from a ball head or a old gear head. This one knocks everything. And okay, boom. Ahorita vamos para trípode. Now for tripods. Very, very, very important just to get a very sturdy tripod. I like my legs loose for some reason. It it gives me more freedom of moving fast back and forth between shoots. I know some of you guys, look at this. I know some of you guys might cringe, but I keep kind of one or two legs very loose for me just to pick up, move, and move, okay? It's faster for me to do it that way. It really doesn't affect anything shooting-wise, but it gives me that freedom to move faster. For the tripod, again, I'm using the Gitzo. I do not recall this model. This was Brian's tripod that I kind of acquired from him. I used to use a typical Manfrotto tripod, but they were heavy. They really wasn't the one for the job for me. So I switched to a knob system instead of a clamp system, and I in love with this Gitzo. It's so sturdy, so high quality, and you know, Gitzo, it's like kind of the Rolls-Royce of tripods for architectural photography. So this is such a good tripod for me. I love it. I can just throw it down, beat it, and nothing will happen. And it's super lightweight too. So the Manfrotto that I used to use was so heavy, and it wasn't the one for me. So I totally recommend either a Gitzo. I've heard good things of Benro tripods, but I personally haven't used a Benro. I have a Benro for video that I absolutely love, but for photo, I really haven't used a Benro before, so I am biased. So the Gitzo for me is the way to go, and these are the knobs version. I can throw some suggestions on the description, and also everything you see here and everything that I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna leave it on the description so you guys can check it out. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever on recommendations, please let me know on the comments down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I saw my statistics. I saw the statistics, and 60% of you guys that view the video aren't subscribed. So if you guys want to hit that subscribe button and like this video, that will help a lot. That will keep me pushing to kind of create these videos for you guys on equipment breakdown, shooting breakdown, editing breakdown, kind of pretty much everything that that we use to kind of deliver these photos and actually offerings for our clients, and you can do it too. So I talked about body, lenses, gear head, and tripod. Let's go to the accessories now for triggers, CamRanger, flash, and modifiers. One of the things that changed the game for me later on in the game was having a remote triggering system and viewing for me and for the client. I used to use the Canon remote app, and for triggering it's good, but if you want to review the images and trigger, it's so trash. It's laggy, it's bad, it's unreliable, it keeps disconnecting all the time. I don't know if it's a R5 problem. We have tested it with the R3. It happens again and again and again, and that's why we invested on the CamRanger. This is the CamRanger 2, and let me open it for you guys to see. And I keep it on their pouch all the time. CamRanger 2, it connects via USB-A to USB-C to the camera, and it connects to the iPad. So I carry an iPad all the time during the shoot. It's gonna be either on a stand, or I have it kind of dangling with me right here. I have a kind of a hard case with it with rubber, so it doesn't, when it hit a wall or something, I really not messing with the iPad too much, but it's great on location for triggering, for reviewing images with my clients, and I do not have to mess with the settings on the camera. I can control exposure, pretty much everything, f-stop, ISO, bracketing shots. The only thing we cannot control is flash settings, which we have to control it using the trigger, but otherwise I can switch from modes from aperture priority mode to manual mode using the iPad, and do not touch the camera while the shoot is happening or while I'm shooting a room or scene. So CamRanger 2 is a complete game changer. If you haven't seen my video on why the CamRanger changed the game for me, I'm gonna leave it linked right here on the card for you guys to check it out. I go kind of in depth and show a little bit of BTS shoot for one of our premium flash photography clients on using it. So it's pretty good detailed wise, where you can see the actual thing working live. So CamRanger 2 for triggering and remote viewing, a must for this type of shoots. Now we are going to, before I move on to the actual flash, I'm gonna go over kind of this little thing. It's a 1/4 screw with a hole and a carabiner ring. And that's how I keep my CamRanger attached all the time. I've seen very creative methods on putting the CamRanger kind of on the side with the cage, or kind of having it on a shoot mount attached with the cage. But I really like keeping it inside the pouch. I keep a external battery plugged in all the time to it, so it doesn't run out of battery, and it feels safer for me just to keep it right next to the camera. I know where is it. I can just plug it. I can run the cable out and plug it straight to the camera without actually having it, dangling outside the shoot. So it's great. I can link the exact same method right here. I actually saw another architectural photographer. His name is Adam Taylor, and he used kind of the similar method, and I saw it and I actually stole it from him, and it changed the game. It's really so useful, so genius for him to do this, and I'm gonna pass it along to you guys. Do this if you want to have a CamRanger setup. I really like this setup right here. When I started, I used to have it right here on the tripod leg with the cable, but when I wanted to go up or down, it was actually compromising the actual USB-C port, where I kind of disliked that a lot when I was when I was panning around for the shots. It was actually pulling the cable out. So I really changed the way I used it, and I am sold with this method, the Adam Taylor method, I'm gonna call it that way. And it's just so useful just to have that CamRanger right next to you if needed. For triggers and flashes, we're gonna go very quickly. It's very easy topic. There's not much of a science on it. For the trigger, I'm using, of course, the brand is gonna be Godox for their roughness and pretty much their price. It's their flashes and their systems are pretty affordable, and they are so good. There really isn't any comparison to be made. I've used Godox products for years, and it really hasn't let me down. So for the trigger, I'm using the X Pro trigger system. Very, very good to manage several flashes. If you have it connected with several flashes, you can do a bunch of stuff. You can do high-speed sync right here, which for real estate you don't need. And this is the way to go. The X Pro C, just for Canon, it's the way to go. I'm gonna link it down in the description down below. And for the flash, I'm using either the AD200 Pro, smaller, more compact, made for smaller homes, and I'm using the AD600 Pro for larger homes, and this one gets me the exact output I need to pretty much satisfy 80% of my shoots. So AD600 Pro for most of my shoots. I use this bat for years. It's been like 3 or 4 years that I've used it, and it has never let me down. The power output of this flash is so impressive that I use just one flash across my entire shoots, and the battery will last me for days. So as you can see, I keep the moto light right now just for a show, but I never use it pretty much. The flash is so reliable, and I absolutely love it. If you haven't tried a 600 Pro series, do it. It's such a good deal. I mean, it's an expensive flash for what it is, but for what it is, it's just amazing. It just gives me the right outputs for every shoot that I need to, especially for builders and interior designers. If I'm mimicking window light, or getting creative with some abstract lighting or whatnot, this will give me the right amount of power. For the umbrella, I have a pretty generic umbrella. I do not know the actual brand, but it's a kind of white on the inside. I've used some gray kind of aluminum feel to it, just to give me more reflection, more of a sharp edge for the shadows. And I really didn't like that. I like more soft runny edges and shadows on the furniture, or if I'm mimicking light from the windows. This piece of equipment works great. I also have a lantern or China light that I tend to use for 50% of the time. If the house is huge and I need to spread out more light, I will use a lantern modifier from Aperture, and I can link it down in the description below, and I can show you guys a actual raw photo of me kind of using and handling the 8600 Pro in my hand with the lantern and shooting straight to a furniture, mimicking kind of window light per se. So that modifier, I use it to spread more light. This one is just to more of a spotty feel, more of a actual intimate luxury feel. I tend to use an umbrella. It gives me more power, more direction on it. I can direct it where I want to go, and it will shine where I want to go. For the lantern, since it's a big dome, it will spread out light everywhere. It will reflect from the walls. It will bounce from the walls. So I tend to use that one for kind of motorhome shoots or architectural shoots where I want to spread out light, and I use an umbrella where I want to direct light to specific set of furniture, walls, appliances, cabinets, or whatever furniture I want or specific surface I want. That's it. It's such a good piece of equipment. And this is really it. This is everything I use for our premium flash photography services, from flash, lenses, cameras, triggers, CamRangers, tripods, pretty much everything. If you guys have any suggestions or you want recommendations from Brian and I, please let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to reach out privately, I'm going to leave our website and my email in the description down below. Let us know if you need anything. We are an open book, and we are giving back to the community. So again, 60% of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you guys want to subscribe, that will help a lot. And if you like this video too, if you like it, if you find it any helpful at all for you to start this journey, that will be much appreciated. So that's it. I will catch you on the next video.